The Beat the Shift podcast has joined the Fangraphs Audio Network. Who are we and what is this show about? Find out next on Beat the Shift. Welcome to the Beat the Shift podcast, presented by Fangraphs. I am your host, Ariel Cohen, and I am here today with my co-host, Ruvain Guy. Ruvain, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I'm really excited for all new episodes of the Beat the Shift podcast, presented by Fangraphs. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our new podcast feed on Apple, Google, or wherever you listen to your shows. And you can follow our podcast on Twitter at beat_shift_pod. Our show, Beat the Shift, was previously on as a part of the Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational podcast, and we want to give a tremendous thank you to Justin Mason for having us on there for the past 2 years and for giving us our start. Going forward, we are really excited to join the Fangraphs Audio Network. Now, many of you already know us, but for those of you who are new to the show, today's short teaser episode is just a little bit about who we are and what this show is all about. We are a baseball podcast geared for fantasy baseball players, and we are here to help you win your fantasy baseball leagues. We have a wide range of listeners, all the way from beginners to NFBC championship players. We have something for everyone. Actually, we have a lot for everyone. So first of all, who are we? Here's a little bit about our hosts.
Well, my name is Ruvain Guy. I've been working as an orthopedic, physical medicine, and pain management physician assistant for the past 15 years. During the course of my years in practice, I have diagnosed and treated shoulder injuries like rotator cuff, biceps injuries, knee injuries, which include ACL, MCL, and meniscal injuries, and elbow injuries, including even sending patients for evaluation for UCL repair or Tommy John surgery. I also deal with neck and back injuries. With this background, I am able to understand and better predict timetables for injury recovery far better than the average fantasy baseball player, and I tweet out player injury updates regularly along with the best fantasy baseball advice applicable to that player. You can read my work in season in my weekly injury column on Rotoballer, and you can follow me on Twitter at MLB Injury Guru.
My name is Ariel Cohen, and I write for Fangraphs, CBS Sports, Rotoballer, and I do the ATC projections, which are available yearly on Fangraphs. You can follow me on Twitter at ATCNY. In my professional life, I am an actuary. I'm vice president of risk management for a large insurance company. I get to work with hurricane models, earthquake models, flood and terrorism models. Heck, I've dealt with the risk of damage as a result of meteorites falling down from the sky. And believe it or not, I even once modeled alien invasion. And of course for you, I model baseball with the acclaimed ATC projections that come out each January and are available right here on Fangraphs. Last year, I was named as the most accurate fantasy baseball analyst. The ATC projection system was dubbed as the most accurate projection system, and I was named by the Fantasy Sports Writers Association as the Baseball Writer of the Year. Hey, I've been playing fantasy baseball ever since my college days. Ruvain is a buddy of mine since high school, and I've teamed up with him to win a ton of home leagues. Then, we took it to the next level and decided to play high stakes in the NFBC. We won in our first 2 years there. I also just won Tout Wars in 2020, one of the most prestigious fantasy baseball expert leagues. For me, and this is important, I consider myself a fantasy baseball player first. I'm a writer, an analyst, and everything else a distant second. So, what is this show all about?
Well, it's about strategy, fantasy baseball strategy. Most other podcasts focus on recent news and talk about a wide range of players. And there are many really great shows out there, and Ariel and I listen to them too. But we focus on strategy on our show. We discuss drafting methods, replacement level drafting, hotspot drafting, auction strategy, snake strategy, What types of players should you avoid in the first round? How should you deal with risk in drafting? What is the right amount of draft budget to spend on pitchers versus hitters? How much fab should you spend in your first month? What should you save for the last month? Should you bid more on prospects, on hot players, or relievers? What is the optimal way to trade in a league? How to know when to bench a player? When do you cut a player? What key metrics let you know when to pick up a player? What are the best metrics to look at?
As you will see, we ask very pointed questions, and we give you very specific answers to these and to other key questions throughout the year. The tidbits of information and strategy that we give you on this show will make you a better player. And to do so, we bring on the best guests in the industry each week. We have had and will have on our show guests from CBS, ESPN, The Athletic, Fangraphs, RotoWire, WFAN Radio, and so many other prestigious outlets, plus some real-life Major League Baseball players too. What makes our show unique is that a large part of our show is not time-sensitive. Months after, you can go back and listen to some of our best shows. You can go back and brush up on topics you want to hear more about, or listen to some of our great guests that we've had on.
And yeah, we also do plenty of deep player analysis as well. No one needs to know in season if you should play Mike Trout, so we discuss the players that you'll need to make real decisions about. Every week during the season, we have segments such as Waiver Wire, which we discuss and give our personal picks for who we think should be scooped off the waiver wire and why. We have a pitcher preview, where we mention our picks for the best two-start pitchers or great one-start matchup for the coming week. We also have a mailbag section where we answer your questions each week. Ask us questions, we will answer as many as we can on the show. And I will give my weekly in-depth injury updates and fantasy advice that goes along with it to help you navigate the free agent market and set your lineups each week with confidence.
We aren't going through the top 20 first basemen on our show. We're not going to rank the top 10 shortstops. We aren't covering every player, and we're not going to do that kind of show. We can't do a better job than what Paul Sporer and Justin Mason do on The Sleeper and the Bust. Instead, we go through the players that the ATC projections identify as potential bargains in upcoming drafts. Then we do data-driven deep dives on why you should consider raising them up on your draft boards. We do strategy, and we do more strategy. You can know everything there is to know about the players, but to win your leagues, it is about implementing the right strategy. On this podcast, we present to you advanced strategy tools. It's about the how, the what, the when, and why. And that's what we focus on at Beat the Shift. It's a show that you just can't get anywhere else. So, tune in next week and every week to the all-new Beat the Shift podcast presented by Fangraphs. You can follow me, Ariel Cohen, on Twitter at ATCNY.
And follow me, Reuven Guy, on Twitter at MLB Injury Guru.
So, look out for our first episode, which will drop next week, and see you all later.
Thanks for listening to the Beat the Shift podcast presented by Fangraphs. Follow us on Twitter at beat_shift_pod.